It is time for that Talk with Tariro. Hello and welcome. On the show today, we've got a guest who is not new. And I'm sure when people see her face, they always think she's coming to talk about issues to do with HIV and AIDS. But no, today we want to go differently and really get to understand the other side of her. I'm talking about Tendai Westerhoff. Tendai, welcome to the Talk with Tariro.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back.
Yes. Tendai, when I'm looking at you, there is the other side of Tendai that people actually don't know about. Maybe share with us who has been Tendai before she came out talking about her HIV status, the other stuff that you were doing before coming out with your HIV status.
Yes, a lot of things. I'm not so sure where I should begin from because it can take a while.
I want the glamour modeling from that side.
All right, so the limelight to start with, it started way back, I think it was in 1995. And at that time, there was this company, I can't remember, but I know I met some people, and there was this Secretary of the Year competition. And at that time, I was working in the private sector. So, my bosses, I just showed them the adverts. They know there's this Secretary of the Year competition, and I would want to participate. So they recommended me, and I did go for the Secretary's retreats. At the time, I was only about 25 years or so, just being that girl, And though I had already done my modeling a few years back, I was already a model by profession, and I recall I was in the newspapers. I would model for Edgar's, would do shows for Edgar's,
Don't mention brands.
Yes, okay, not mentioning brands, but I had been on a cover of some magazine and stuff like that. So we went for that retreat, and the secretaries themselves were asked to vote. Of course, we were given some tests and whatever. I was more of a personal assistant to the directors in the private sector.
Okay.
And I didn't realize I was that good, but I attribute that to my modeling career that groomed me. I remembered Dale Harding at the time with Stillwater's modeling studio. This is where we came from, and I know there's Edmo Sakarombe and others. That was our group. So when we went for the retreat for the secretaries, people just said, no, we need to vote for ourselves, to vote to say who is the best. They gave us a series of tests in that retreat, and I was voted among the top 3. Yes, I was voted. So we actually paraded, and I actually went with the brand of my company. We used to wear very nice navy blue uniforms, and I had a bob, a shortcut. My eyes are big, and everything was just intact. So I was voted. And that was a turning point in my life because I recall at that time, that was my first ever appearance on ZBC. They had a morning show that they used to do, and there was some facilitation, and we ended up on that show wearing our sashes. I know the other 2 girls, I can't remember. I've never seen them ever since. And we were so young, looking all beautiful, and
beautiful.
Young, beautiful young women. We were on TV. It was my first time on TV. And I just thought that one day I will get that tape, but I know ZBC have it. If we dig, we can find it. So that was my first public appearance, and we spoke about our experiences. And from that time, I realized that I had so many skills in me, to be a PA to directors of a company. I handled myself well. One, to know how to keep my director's diary, issues of confidentiality. A lot of things happen. All that stuff, and also issues of being precise when I'm given work to do. The boss says he wants this by such time at his desk, or in the morning of this desk, at his desk. I would always do a thorough job. And then it came also to things like events management for the organization, like the annual party, the celebrations, the award giving. I would always coordinate that expeditiously, and everybody was happy. And
so what then what then led you to have your own modeling agency?
So as I was going on there, because people had seen me on TV, and this retreat for secretaries that I went, and I made a lot of contacts, and they just started contacting me to say, no, Tendai, you look so beautiful. We want to be like you. How do you do your makeup? How do you do your hair, your skin? And they used to call me a black beauty because I have this chocolate kind of natural. I think because my father is a Mozambican origin, and he also went to Malawi. And my sisters, my father's sister, she was very beautiful. She was all tall and whatever. Yeah, she was striking. So I just took over those, and also a combination of my mom. I know my mother had very beautiful legs. I saw her photos when she was in her 20s. She was very good looking. So the combination, I think it gave the product that you see today, or that people saw later on. So I started to make that network, And when I went to work, people just say, no, you should start to groom people. And do you know the first people that I groomed were business executives, these managers of organizations and directors. I came up with a program because of the skills that I learned when I went to modeling. So I drafted the program. I would do a personalized program about how to mix and match your clothes, how to take care of your skin. I also researched on the internet and read books. And I started helping people, especially on issues of personal grooming. That when you are a lady, you are in the office, you are anywhere, try to look your best wherever you go, because you don't even know whom you are going to meet on the street. I'm one kind of a person who would be stopped in the street whenever I was walking during that time. People would stop to look at me, but I didn't understand what that meant. So that drove me now to say, well, I think I can start to my modeling. And as life goes on, I think in 1999, everything changed. When I also got married, I went into business. I left the private sector. Yeah. I had a beauty parlor, one of the best beauty parlors in Harare that I had. It was really top-notch. And I had a modeling side, and I also had a boutique where I would bring clothes from Dubai. I would sell. Yeah. So I started training models. Young girls used to come. And I have top lawyers in Harare who were trained by me. It's only that they don't want to say it. I groomed them, the way to dress, deportment, office manners, and everything. But these are the skills that I learned at the then called the Sulawesi modeling studio. Yeah. It was the studio, the modeling agents of the day, with people like Dale Harding. And one of the lawyers, I think, who was my trainer, she's with this firm. It's in Harare. I can't remember her name.
Right. Okay. We will continue with our discussion. First episode, we have had this glamorous Tendai who did the best that she could. And she hinted, then she got married. And I think that's the period that I actually got to know her. And that's when things actually changed. I would say, for me, when I saw her that time, she actually hit rock bottom, but she rose from that. And I would want her to speak to that. She was trying to find out from me, what do I want her to speak about? Whether she's comfortable or not. But I want this to be a lesson, particularly to other women. Join us after the break. Welcome back. We are continuing with our discussion with Tendai Westerhoff. Tendai, we've spoken about your earlier side when you were thriving as a corporate PA, and you then setting up this your own modeling agency and grooming other executives. Being this high-flying Tendai, we do know that that's the period that you actually met your then husband, Clemens Westerhoff, and you traveled the whole world. In just a minute or so, share with us that experience before we move on to the other side, where we would want you to be a lesson to other women.
Yes, at that time, I was already a mother of 3. But there I was, high flying. I met a guy and we got married. One of the biggest weddings that took place in Zimbabwe during that time. Of course, yeah. And it's unfortunate it became short-lived. Yeah. So when that part was over, I tried.
Want to know a bit about that marriage. You
Yes,
can't run away from it.
It took us to a
Take
lot
us
of
into-
places.
How was it?
It was beautiful at first. It was really beautiful, especially the first year. We were just a family with 3 pretty girls, there we were, and we made a lot of friends. We were in all these high places around the city. And whenever we took a walk into the city, the paparazzi will always be there. And these people, children who live in the street, they'll always come and cheer us up. And people will always come to greet me and to have photos taken with me. So that was the life. I would go for soccer, to watch football. And sometimes when the Warriors traveled, they'll also go. I remember one time when we went to Nigeria with the team, I said I wanted to go to Nigeria. So there we went. And when we went into this hotel, this Nigerian guy comes to say, coach, if you leave your wife alone like this, they're going to take her. She's too pretty, So that afternoon now, we went to the stadium. And I think Zimbabwe were beaten something like 4-0 or 6-0. I was up in the stairs. And one of the commentators, I don't know whether it was Charles Mabika or someone, and they made a comment to say, no, the gaffer, the coach is not concentrating. He's busy looking up at Tendai up there in the stairs. And each time he would glance at me, I would wave, And even when we went to the stadium, in the National Sports Stadium, whenever we went there, I got an opportunity to mix with the cream, with the high class.
Yeah.
But that life was short-lived.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And when it ended?
Yes.
You actually hit rock bottom.
I hit rock bottom because, to start with, I never knew that you can get married and the marriage would end. Yeah. Because I'm a person who had been in a relationship that failed, but with this last one, I'd given up everything, including even selling my house and everything. It was all that meant to me. That was the world to me.
Yes.
But one day, things just changed. Yeah. And I ended up homeless with the same children who were very, very young. So I remember now when I was evicted from the matrimonial home through the divorce by consent and whatever I would like to call that. My first child, Louike, she came with the truck. And I just said to her, let's carry what we can. Of course, we didn't have any other furniture. Yeah. The little furniture that I had, because I had no space to put it, I asked an auctioneer to come and collect the things. The moment he collected the things and sold the things, I never heard about him up to today because I knew I would get money from there. So things were just bad. Yeah. And I started to struggle with almost everything.
Now you had 4 girls.
I now had 4 girls. As a little one and trying to manage the modeling agency. And the modeling agency, it couldn't last long. It also crashed for various reasons. And also, it was the time that our economy, around 2008, our economy reached rock bottom, whereby the dollar, the value of the Zimbabwean money would change every second. Yeah. So I ended up with nothing. So I started to hop from one place to the other with the children. And that also affected my children. I remember my second child, she was renting a boy's car somewhere there. And one day I tried to visit them. When I came to Harare, I had nowhere to sleep. It was just a little room with a bed and all the things were outside. And when it was raining, everything would get soaked. And there was this guy who used to know me from soccer. He would say to me, the girls are here. And then he gave them a 2-roomed, So whenever I came to Harare, I would go and sleep with them. But at the end of the day, I said, no, I'm giving too much pressure on these children. They should not be looking after me. They're too young. They're only issues. So sometimes I would just sleep wherever I would sleep. And kana wane namo, ama dzinotiza. Kuti urambo chiponera munhu ndoda kuuya kumba kwako. They come with various reasons. You are... Even pachangu inini sometimes, I noticed, I developed even body odor. Yananga ndisina bad breath because I was ever stressed. by these issues. But I never left my children. I made sure they go to school at whatever level. My children eventually, all of them completed school. I have one university graduate. She went to Midland State University. She now lives in Dubai. She's a graduate in social studies. And the firstborn, Louis K, she has her own branding, a company, LC Shipping, which she started from a phone. And now she's a rising entrepreneur, and now becoming a big brand in that field. And the third one is a beautician. She trained in beauty, health and beauty. And the small one is now 22 years. She's a qualified nurse.
Yeah.
So I've done my part. And I just feel that I now have to give them their freedom to do what they want. And I now focus on my life. Yes. And because I'm now focusing on my life and sisina my expenses, mukutambura ikoko and now kangamwa upenyu wangu, the first person that when I started to get money coming in, the first person that I really invested in was to make sure that my mother had a good home. Yeah. So whatever I got, I spawned up a house, put good furniture, and then after that, I started to focus on myself never and again. Vana vakapedza vese chikoro. Ndotozoona with time ndikanzwa kuti kune mastands aitengeswa, and ini ndinogara namai even up to today because my mother is old and my office is also at home. I grew up in the gate in Kadoma. So I enjoy it working from my little office at home, and I also take care of my mother at the same time because she's old.
Yeah.
Toto Zonzwa.
Yeah. Toto Zonzwa. Keep that. Did you know this side about Tendai Westerhoff? When you see her walking around, see her on TV regularly. Now when I'm looking at her, she's actually an expert when it comes to issues to do with HIV and AIDS. But there is this other side about her, the resilience, the tenacity, just focusing on life and saying, even if the chips are down, I am not going to allow them to continue keeping me down. Join us after this short break. Welcome back. We are continuing with our discussion. This is our third and final segment, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to finish discussing everything. Yes, Tendai, now urukugara na mama, uchitosumuka. Apa ndikuda kunyanya kutarisa, other women, particularly when divorce happens, the world just crumbles.
Yes,
and some even commit suicide.
Yes.
Some fail even to rise.
Yes.
But iwewe you are here being a true testament and a testimony to say, no matter what wasiwa uri papi, waibva kulow density, kwawanga une zimba zihombe to going into the streets. Umwe munhu anogona kuzviuraya. Umwe munhu can do anything. But here we are, we've got Tendai, who is now a successful businesswoman again.
Yes. So when I started to live with my mother, I'd also done a diploma. Ndakaenda kuchikoro. I did a diploma in DBL, Business Leadership, with the Zimbabwe Institute of Management. And that's a very good, it's hands-on skills and whatever. And I passed. And it says, even my pictures, ndakatorwa ndine cape of knowledge yangu, muzuva ndaishupika zvese zvakarasika. Saka people vanofunza kuti maybe ndiri munhu asina chikoro. Ndakugara mughetto imomo when I was staying with my mother. I would go to the local church in Zayoja in the ghetto. And I enrolled with AMFIC through distant learning for 2 years. I was still doing basa rangu HIV, traveling, ndikashedzwa kuma workshop, kupi around the world. I would go because that was sponsored. Yes. And some of the trips would just go, they put you in a good hotel, no per diem, no anything. But ndakangoti no, it's important to network.
Exactly.
And the opportunity kuti ndakwirawo ndege ndaenda kunyika yakati. It was good because vanhu vanga vachizvishaiwa. And I just want to thank all those people. Yeah. If I were to count the countries I have been today, I think I've been to more than 35 countries and to most of the great cities around the world. Yes. The only place that I have not been to is South America. And once I go there, hopefully in future, I will have completed the circle of traveled the whole world.
Yes.
So I went to the AMFIC Bible School. I would study. Pastor would come, Kumbakwelu. ndaita homework yangu ndichipedza, and I would always get high marks. Eventually I graduated with honors and I was the best student.
Wow.
And thank you to Zayoja, Baba Guti and my Guti, they carried me. Mazuache, why I remember my Guti going with me in the mountain in Bindura kunondina matira. Zvinhu zvisinamboitirwa vanhu vakawanda. She went up with me in the mountain in Bindura. Baba Guti vachibva vati, Tendai, I want you to teach people in my church nyaya dzechirwere ichi. So those were all the things that way I was doing. Ndiri mugeto imomo, I started to mobilize women vaiuya pamba pedu nanhasi they still come kuisa myself help initiatives vachiriko, and those structures are intact, and it changed a lot of women's lives. Uku ndichiitawo matravels angu, a few people would invite me to my business functions where I would talk, where I would do grooming, but with time modeling and grooming started to fade away. And then ndakatozoona ndamuna 2000, was it 2011, I bought my first car, a Toyota Spatio, brand new from Japan. You know, ndozogara zvazvisiri perfect. Ndakutanga kuenda kunana Australia. Yes, zvazvisiri perfect. Tati chinazvo. I remember one day vana vangu vachindiitira birthday ndichigara muboyska vakandiitira pakamukoto, so because papa siri pamba pedu, but they came and sang happy birthday to me. I remember those moments. And when I went to Australia, I know my daughter, the small one, Alia, she said, Mommy, I was so heartbroken. I thought you were not going to come back. And I said, no, I would not leave you. And because of all those reasons, I avoided relationships, especially love relationship, intimate relationship, because my children were too young. My children were girls. I did not want to subject my children to another trauma. I had too much baggage. Yes, you know, I'm free. I had too much baggage, you know. Vana vangu vachiri vati, but yes, no vese vakura vane malives avo. Now I am free. I do what I want. I'm very independent. Togara ndonzwa kuti kuri kutengeswawo mastands kumwe. I just bought the stand with faith. Ndichaivaka iyeni.
Exactly.
You know, but God is for us all. When you believe, and you have to start by taking a first step of faith. Ndotoona ndiri kutokwanisawo kuvaka, tonzwa kuti kune mastands kumaruzeva, ndotoona ndakutokwanisawo kutotenga kumastands kuruzeva. And I mean, I've always loved nice places, nice things. So I said it doesn't matter. Even if stand yangu iri kumaruzeva, I'm going to turn it into my own border.
Exactly.
That's the way I live. I made it into my own border with everything. Solar, kana the way the finishing is done, itongoona glamour iriko, ndio standard yacho yandiri nayo. Ndo pane upenyu hwangu nasi. And I eat healthy, handizvinyimi chikafu, handiti mafadi diets ayaya, because ndakaona kuti neage yangu, my body needs food now, a lot of food more than ever. Saka ndinozvichengeta zvakanaka. Kubasawo kwandiri kuita ndakangozokudziridzwawo ndakugara mumabhodzi andakugara kwatiri kupuhwawo, you know, confidence with the president to be given, you know, because of the integrity and everything. Kupuhwa trust yokuti you can be part of these things from the president himself. Ndinogara muboard reNational AIDS Council nevamwe tikubatsira kuramba tichiita zvechirwere cheHIV and AIDS, but that is not the end of life. Saka ndiri kuti kumadzimai, especially masingle women ava, please, haikona kuda kudependa too much, kuda kuzvichipisa because waramwa, wasiwa, unongoti every Jack and Jill comes and makes you a toy. We are very vulnerable.
Exactly.
Tinonyeperwa, ndokuda sterek, because we are emotionally, I was emotionally broken. Broken, you know, so I needed a companion. But the moment I started to have my companion, they were male abusing me. Exactly. Because I was vulnerable. And I remember this guy, this man who was a family friend before, they used to have my businesses in Avondon. They ended up with the wife. And then he said to me, no, Tendai, you should not lose hope. You never know if you just go around the corner, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the line, your life would change. And I remember that. You know, your life will change. And then even musekta matoshanda paka tombondituka kuti munhu wepu unogara namai asina imba, ini ndine kwa kati unogara namai vasina imba. It really ate me up. But nhasi kana ndakuzvitarisa nevamwe vakangondiseka, tikuona kuti vachiripo pavari. inini ukauya muwadhropu mangu Tare, I have clothes ndinotenga, handiteki zvinhu zvinodhura, ndoteka zvinhu zvandinoda. Zvinhu zvangu zvese izvi ndezvekumusika izvi kwandinofamba. Everything I buy from the market $6, $10. Saka kana ndine $50 nditsenga yauri 5 neboots nebegi, you know.
All right, that's tender. We will not finish. We will invite her again just to continue learning from her. But we can see, I think this comes as words of encouragement. We do know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we'll try and feature as many women, not women who actually have breast cancer, but just to encourage ourselves. No matter how hard we've been hit by life, it could be through having cancer, through having any other challenge, we can still rise and be who we want to be. Until next week, it's goodbye.